Simone Biles is your U.S. Gymnastics champion again. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, Philippians 4:13. Let's go. Simone Biles wins record 8th U.S. Gymnastics championship. Simone Biles is not going to explain herself. Part of this is by design. Part of this is because she simply can't. Yeah, maybe that's true. She's not going to explain herself because she doesn't have to explain herself. She's internalizing things, she's growing, she's maturing, and she's making things happen. When the gymnastics star is at her best, as she was Sunday night while winning her record 8th U.S. championship, she says she feels like she's in a fever dream. It's not autopilot exactly. It's more of a vibe, a flow. And we call that in sports, we call that the zone. So she's in the zone. She's in her, she's in her excellence. It's her natural ability just takes over. She doesn't have to think about what she's doing. It's just happening for her. There is no thinking, no overanalyzing. See? No twisties. All of it recedes into the background. Coach Laurent Landy calls it a skill. Biles, even at 26, won't go that far, maybe because she simply doesn't want to. Yes, she overcame the twisties. That is a big deal, you guys. You guys got to think about that, Israel, is that these twisties, when she's doing her moves, when she's up in the air, she loses cognitive understanding of where her body is in relation to the ground or the mat. So the danger that presents is immeasurable. So to be able to overcome that feeling and that danger and being able to perform is immaculate. I remember when I tore my ACL playing football, the hardest thing was worrying that you were going to hurt it again. The hardest thing about coming back was worrying, are you going to hurt it again? Are you going to re-tear the ligament? So overcoming that was really a big deal for myself. I remember as well coming into the football season, after about 3 or 4 games, I'd been wearing a knee brace. And then after the third game, it was at halftime. After the third game at halftime, I felt great. I felt wonderful. I felt like I didn't need the knee brace as a crutch. I remember taking the knee brace off, and I just felt a feeling of freedom. I felt a feeling of relief. I felt a feeling of belief and of knowing that I could do it, and I went on and did well. That was a wonderful victory that I had achieved there. Back to Simone. So yes, she was smiling midway through a floor routine that made almost every other competitor on the floor stop what they were doing to watch, and that drew a standing ovation from a portion of the sellout SAP Center crowd. No, she can't explain why. When her coaches told her she'd nailed every tumbling pass, she was clueless. It just doesn't feel real for some reason. Greatness beckons and demands attention. Simone Biles, is the showstopper. That's the reason why everybody had to stop, because she's not even competing against them. She's competing against herself. These people can't even do the moves that she does. She's got moves named after her. Just a wonderful talent, just a wonderful showing of the ability of Israel. It is remarkable. 10 years ago, she was a teenage prodigy who doesn't remember much from her ascension to the top of her sport. She was always fixated on the next thing: world championships, team camps, the Olympics. That's true. That happens a lot. And we're taught that in sports, that we just have to, okay, you won it, you did it, you won the championship, you can enjoy it for a day or two, and then we got to move on and get ready for the next season, get ready for the next game. And in her level of maturity, now she's taking these things in. She's taking in these victories. She's internalizing it. She's seeing the greatness that she has and what she's been blessed with. And also she's really able to see her greatness because she knows these other people can't even compete with her. When you really grow, when you really get to that place, you realize you don't compete against people. You only compete against yourself. Everything I've achieved has been because I competed against myself. I never competed against other people. And also, think about this. You're the only person that can be you. You were made by Christ to be you with all the attributes and skills and blessings that he gave you. When you try to compete with somebody else, you come out of your own God-given blessing and abilities and put yourself in the dichotomy of another person. And this person's blessings or gifts may have been at a level 4 while yours are at a 7. So if you're competing with somebody with gifts at a level 4, but yours are at a 7, you probably, and if you overcome them, you reach level 5. You don't even get to your full potential. So one of the keys that I've learned throughout life is that you don't compete against people. You always compete against yourself. That's what the Father wants as well for us, I believe. Now, Simone, she's 26 years old, newlywed, determined to enjoy this. She's happily married as well, you guys. I'm sure that plays a wonderful part in her life. For real, 6 months ago, she wasn't sure she was all in. 3 weeks ago, she returned to competition in Chicago, feeling as if she was going to throw up every time she saluted the judges. Remember, she was gone for 2 years. These twisties were so dangerous that she had to get away for 2 years, because if you do one of those moves and something goes wrong, you could break your neck. You can kill yourself. I mean, this woman's jumping and twirling 20 feet up in the air, just doing all kinds of things that mere mortals can only imagine. So she took 2 years off, came back, and now she's come back at this high, unbelievable level that she is the only one on. Reminds me of Michael Jordan. Sometimes I bring up Jordan. If you guys remember, Michael Jordan left pro basketball for a couple years and went and played pro baseball, minor league baseball. But when he came back to the NBA for his last 2 years, I believe, with the Washington Wizards, he was a shell of himself. He still gave you 20, 6 and 6, 20 points, 6 boards, 6 assists, something of that nature. But his teams were average, were mediocre. He never won a championship again. But he came back and played and wanted to kind of, I guess, just prove that to himself because he still had more in the tank. Back to Simone, the woman who posted a 2-day all-around total of 118.4 this weekend in Northern California, 4 points clear of the runner-up, Shalise Jones, and well ahead of Florida junior Leanne Wong in third place, is not ready to hit fast forward. She won. She's letting herself be happy this time. That didn't always happen before. Like I said, she's matured. She's taking it all in. She's growing and she's learning as she elevates. And the scores that she's putting up here, she's beating people by 4 points. By the number 2, she's beating them by 4 points in gymnastics. These people win championships by hundredths of a point, by tenths of a point. She's beating them by 4 points. This is the equivalent of a football game being 59-3. That's what the equivalent is of a basketball game being 130-85. I mean, these are just complete destruction. Baseball, it'd be like 19-2. It's not even competitive. That's the reason why her growth, her personal growth, and her competing against herself is what's allowing her to reach these high levels as she continues to reach these high levels. We really try to celebrate our success individually and as a team, just so that in a couple of years you can remember this, she said, because I really don't remember a lot from the past. Yeah, especially when she was younger. She's just going and going and going, and they're telling her we just got to try to get better and better and better, so you don't really get a chance to enjoy the successes that you've had. You got to move on to the next one. She knows that gymnastics won't last forever, even if for her, in a way, it has. Peaks aren't supposed to last this long. Most elite gymnasts at 26, at least the ones who haven't retired, are simply hoping to hold on to what they have. Exactly. The gymnasts, you guys, retire at about 20, 21, 22 years old. For 26 years old as a gymnast is almost unheard of. It's almost unheard of for her to be this age at this top level and still competing. It's literally unheard of. The athlete who became the oldest woman to win a national title since USA Gymnastics began organizing the event in 1963 is not interested in that. Landy calls Biles' floor routine in the finals the best he'd ever seen her do. That's saying something because she's already the best. So if this is the best you've seen her do, she's coming back from a 2-year hiatus, okay? getting herself together. Now this is the best that you've ever seen her do. She's achieved another level, and I believe she's achieved this next level because of the mental clarity that she got over those 2 years off when she had the twisties, because a lot of times the battles are you against you. Okay, the battles are become you against you, and she overcame that battle. So I believe the best of Simone Biles is yet to come, and Paris is just coming right down the pike. Matter of fact, with the way medicine and things are now, this woman could keep competing for as many years, for 3 to 5 more years, or even beyond that if she so desires. But we'll see. She says, I think it's maturity. Biles' 8 crowns moved her past Alfred Joachim, who won 7 between 1925 and 1933 when the Amateur Athletics Union ran the championships and the men's competitions included rope climbing. They weren't even doing any of these type of majestic moves and things that Simone Biles is doing. That gold medal just wonder that she's doing. It's not even close. It's not even close. The sport has come a long way over the past century. No one has spent more time at the far end of the bell curve than Biles, whose singular talents continue to push boundaries. She's training smarter these days, her only real acquiescence to the miles she has put on over the past 20 years. While she remains one of the most visible active athletes in the Olympic movement, she's making it a point not to let the world in on every single little thing as she eyes a trip to Paris next summer. Biles joked, it's because people are nosy. The reality is, she'd just like a little privacy. Well, also, she understands. I mean, I'm from California. I'm from Los Angeles, Hollywood, Beverly Hills, Long Beach. I know all about this. The paparazzi are out there. These people are not out there necessarily for your benefit. They're out there to get something for you, and a lot of times to cause controversy. So now she's learning, let's keep more things in-house. Let's keep more things into myself. Let's only share what we want to share out with the public, and let's shape our destiny the way we want to. Speaking of Simone Biles in the third person there, I like to keep my goals personal, see? Just so that I know what I'm aiming for, Biles said. I think it's better that way. I'm trying to move a little bit differently this year than I have in the past. I think it's working so far, so I'm going to keep it secret. Very smart. Everybody doesn't need to know your business. That's your business. There appears to be more balance in her life, leaning into the "it's just gymnastics" mantra that helped fuel her rise. That's good, because with that mantra, "it's just gymnastics," it takes the pressure off of her. So now she goes out there, performs pressure-free. That way she can just let her instincts take over and have fun. A lot of times the coaches say, go out there, play hard, play fast, and have fun. Because when you do that, that's when you're going to be at your best, instead of overthinking it. When you overthink things, that means you didn't do the preparation prior, and that makes you prone to making mistakes. She played it relatively safe by her standards Sunday after tweaking her right ankle while drilling her electric Yurchenko double pike vault Friday. The 14.85 she received for her Chang vault was still the highest of Sunday night in the event. So was the 14.8 she earned on beam. That 15.4 on the floor too. 4 on the floor. That 15.4 on the floor too. She's just blowing everybody out of the water. She's getting the highest scores all over the place. Remember, when they do when they total everything up, it's all of your points added together from the different events, gives you a total score, and that total score is what they put against everybody else's score to declare the winner. So she's scoring the highest in individual events. Obviously, next stop, Antwerp, which is in Paris, in late September. Biles will try to add to the 25 World Championship medals, 18 of them gold. Wow, 18 gold medals she has captured so far. Her floor routine, you guys, was magnificent, and it stood out. She's in a league of her own. The 6.8 difficulty score for her routine made it the hardest in the competition. So because of the moves and the things that she's doing, the difficulty level is so much higher than everybody else because nobody else can do the moves. She's the only one that can do the moves in the world. So she's in a league of her own. During a 90-second session with dance elements and 4 tumbling passes, there are many opportunities for deductions by the judges, but Biles received an execution score of 8.6, making her score for the routine a competition best. 15.4 that reflected her command of both power and artistry. You can't teach this kind of competition level, Landy said. That's her coach. It's a skill that she has to compete so confidently at such a high level. The routines are not easy. Maybe some people think it's easier for her, but it's not. She's just doing things that other people simply can't do. Some floor routines are so engaging that the crowd claps along to the music, but Biles' tumbling awed the crowd into near silence, which made the eruption when she finished only that much more explosive. Much of the crowd gave Biles a standing ovation, and when the cheers dipped after she climbed down from the podium, Biles' teammate Jordan Childs waved her arms to bring the noise back up again. I want to give a shout out to Jordan Childs there. It's always good to revel in the success of others. I love reveling in the success of others, and I know that the Father, Yahweh, loves that as well. He loves that. He sees that because that shows the condition of your heart, and your heart is what ultimately is going to be judged. So always revel in the success of other people. Over her 12 routines at the first 2 meets of her comeback, she hasn't made any major mistakes, and their difficulty far outstripped that of most of her competition. Again, she's doing things the other people can't do. They're not even attempting these things, what she's doing. If she does this at Worlds or at the Olympics, she'll win, Landy said. That's all. Just need to try to keep her as healthy as possible. See, it's already in the bag. And in sports, it's always, and in life, it's you against you. And when you're fighting for the kingdom, when you're fighting for the kingdom of heaven, it's you against you. Well, it's you against Satan. While Biles said she's keeping her personal goals close to the vest, she's not hiding the fact that her eyes are on a trip to Paris next summer. That's the Olympics. I kind of proved to myself that I can still go out there and compete at the same level as before, actually higher according to your coach. As long as, no, I wouldn't say as long as I can keep it up, I'll still be out here, because absolutely not. But I'm going to give it one more go, and then we'll see. So, is Simone Biles, is she seeing the end here? Is she seeing that she may want to retire maybe after next year's Olympics? It is quite possible, but we'll see. That competitive fire is going to burn in her. She's already solidified herself as the greatest gymnast in the history of gymnastics. Period, bar none. And like I say, I put her up there on that Jordan level, on that Serena Williams level, that LeBron level, Tiger Woods, Tom Brady. She is up there as one of the top athletes to ever perform in athletics. Allow me to impart on you some spiritual edification. Let's start with 1 John chapter 4, verse 4. Ye are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Absolutely. As Israelites, we are his children. We have and will overcome everything. We already have the victory. We're just catching up to it in time. Next verse for your inspiration and for the spirit of overcoming. When things get tough, this is how you overcome. Revelations 3:5. He that overcometh, the same shall be clothed in white raiment, and I will not blot out his name out of the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father, Yahweh, and before his angels. We're going to overcome. This says if you overcome, that means if you can overcome your own personal sin, if you can fight that fight, if you can have your relationship with Christ, if you can, make that relationship greater, stronger, abide in him, you will overcome the world. And he will be your advocate before his Father, Yahweh, at that white throne judgment and before the angels, so that you can enter through those heavenly gates of our eternal rulership. All praises. Simone Biles winning this U.S. National Championship 2023 once again is really brings out joy. It's really a joyous occasion. Let's look at Romans 15, verse 13. Now the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, that ye may abound in hope through the power of the Holy Ghost. And with Christ he left us the Holy Ghost. God has filled us with joy and with peace in believing. So let your joy ring. Let your joy continue. Never let anybody try to steal your joy. There's a lot of pain out here. There's a lot of hate in the world right now. There's a lot of anger. Satan is running rampant, as I sometimes say. So keep your joy. Keep your joy. Don't let them steal your joy. Don't let nobody steal your joy. All praises. This is one of my favorites. This is one of everybody's favorites. But Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. You can do it. Israelites, hang on a little longer. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. When things get tough, call on him, pray to him, get on your knees, and ask him for that strength. Ask him to be with you. Ask him to have those guardian angels around you to fight those battles. So once again, we have Simone Biles as the U.S. undisputed national champion for 2023. This is Crown Prince Media. I am the Crown Prince. All praises to Yahweh. Let's go.